Welcome to a Sniper Side video review. I want to talk to you today about the Sightmark Pinnacle 5-30 tactical scope. This features a 50mm objective, 34mm main tube. Magnification, as I said, goes 5-30. It is a mill scope with a tactical milling reticle. It's a holdover, crosswind, Christmas tree type reticle. And a lot of questions have come in about this scope. It's one of those under the radar optics out there. And in the $1,500 space, we're pretty saturated between Athlon, Bushnell, Vortex, you name it, there's a lot of competition. So where does this Sightmark Pinnacle stand? Well, first thing we'll do is we'll look at the 5-30. There's a lot of 5-30 out there. Sig, Athlon, Bushnell has a 4-30. But you can tell with this 6-to-1 zoom ratio that there is several other competing optics. So where does it stand? Well, in my opinion, it stands dead center right in the middle with the rest of them. I see it holding its own on so many levels with the likes of a Bushnell. I like certain features of this scope better than the ones I've looked at with the Athlon. So the reticle, for example, people are always asking my opinion. What do you think of this reticle? I like this reticle a little bit better than some of the other reticles. I'm not a big Christmas tree holdover reticle guy, but this one works out very well. Being mill, we have 26 mils of total elevation adjustment. That's very good in this space. 10 mils per turn. Another good feature set for a scope here. It's got a zero stop, so we're checking that box. Both red and green illumination with a very responsive parallax adjustment. The scope is easy to get behind, it's easy to use. I don't find myself struggling for eye relief. I don't find myself struggling to see the target or focus in on the target. The focus is crisp and responsive. And with the Japanese HD glass they have in here, it's got a really good sight picture. There is some chromatic aberrations. You're going to see purple and yellow fringing. There's no getting away from that. I see it with the Bushnells. I see it with some of the other scopes in this exact package and price range. So it's not uncommon for this line to show some chromatic aberrations. However, it is a very good scope to focus in on and use downrange. I can see my impacts on target really well, and that little bit of purple, that little bit of yellow, depending on where the sun is, doesn't bother me. I've come to work around it, and it's not something that takes my attention away from using it. Eye relief in this scope is constant. It's not a growing and shrinking eye relief, which is probably why it's so easy to get behind and to use. It's got a very consistent eye box. Now there is a very small difference in your eye relief, but it's tiny. And that is part of the zoom range, that 6-to-1 that they've come to address in this package, that you're not seeing a big swing in the eye relief. For some people, they'll be on 25 power. When they go to shoot off a tripod or in alternate positions, they got to come down to 12 power. You'll get that same eye box even if you're on 20 power, which is a really good thing. Now, we all tested this scope several different ways. We have the new Target USA scope test tool here, and we demonstrated how to check our scope. We ran it through software. I have my cold bore here, and cold bore has a turret truing utility that you can tell it we're going 48 inches. In the video you see I went on a 4-foot level. I put the reticle at the top and I run the elevation up and it brings the reticle down. Now in the video there's a little bit of parallax between the camera and the optic, so it doesn't look like it's lined up, but we did line it up. The legs in the scope allow us to get it dead locked in where we need it to be. That's the point of having a tool that weighs 25 pounds to not move with the scope when we're making adjustments. So we put that in there, we run it down the level, and we take a look at it. This ran 48 inches, 130 clicks, or 13 mils. When we put it in our turret truing utility, it's telling us that that has a 2.5 or 2.5% error factor that we'd actually have to change our software to be 0.103 mils and not 0.100. That 0.03 or 1.03 is going to tell the software exactly how this scope's adjusting. Now 2.5% is pretty common. Lesson learned, we just had a big block of classes, 70-something shooters. Actually, it was about 92 to 95 shooters. But we did a class with 70-something shooters up in Alaska, and the average scope up there was 2 to 3% off of 100%. In one class of 15, there was only 5 scopes that tracked 100%. So we're right in there, and we can make that small adjustment. Instead of 0.1, 0.103. Problem solved, the scope will drive on. We did find it's repeatable, we did find it's accurate, and it comes back to 0. That was a big thing. Does the scope return to 0? Yes, it does. Out, back, the scope returns to 0. That's a key feature. So, a lot of opinions out there, a lot of scopes to choose from. This is just one look at this scope. It's definitely user choice. I like the reticle. The magnification range is where a lot of people are going right now. The turrets are repeatable, and the small error that we saw is correctable in your software. That's the point of ballistic software, to correct that. And we find that it's really user-friendly. It's easy to get behind, and it's easy to shoot. So take a look at your Sightmark Pinnacle 5-30. Retails for about $1,500. MSRP is $1,800. Easy to find. It's out there. Everybody from Amazon to Optics Planet. And it's another option for the long-range shooter. Something to consider. Hey, thanks for watching this video. Make sure you stop over at snipersight.com. Check out everything in the forum. A lot of scope discussion there, and you can see the kill switch scope section where he also tests this very scope. You'll see a lot of different scopes put through the Humbler, and you can tell where they all line up, but you'll find that the Sightmark is right in the middle of all of them. Appreciate your time. Have a great day.